Dave Chappelle once said, taking a man's livelihood is akin to killing him. If you strip away a person's ability to earn a living, eventually they will fall. In 1977, television writer Eric Monte filed a lawsuit that accused networks ABC, CBS, as well as producers Norman Lear, Bud Yorkin, and others of stealing his ideas for the sitcoms Good Times, The Jeffersons, and What's Happening. When Monte was hired as a writer for All in the Family, he created the character of George Jefferson, which of course would famously lead to its own spin-off series, The Jeffersons. That sitcom ran for 11 seasons and aired over 250 episodes, and Monte didn't receive any compensation for creating the iconic character that will make a mark in TV history. According to Monte, it was his idea for Red Fox to be the cast as a lead in Sanford and Son. Norman Lear had never heard of the nightclub comedian. It was clear that Monte's work on Norman Lear productions went far past writing a few episodes. His influence on some of the most popular sitcoms of the 1970s cannot be ignored. Good Times was co-created by Eric Monte and Mike Evans, but because the two men aren't listed as producers on the project they created, which is now the norm, they've been shut out from receiving residuals, as the families of Norman Lear's and Bud Yorkin continue to profit. This continues today as Netflix prepares to release an animated reboot of Good Times, which once again, the Lear estate will have involvement, but not the men who created the original stories and characters.
I wrote them. Where's my money? Could have had, What's Happening? Oh, look, who want more money? I was the first one. Where's my money?
From the start, Monte had problems getting Good Times on the air. Some of those problems stemmed from Norman Lear himself, which caused delays in production. One of those was Monte fighting for the Evans family to have an active father in the series. According to his daughter Cynthia, Monte was told by Lear and other producers that the world isn't ready to see a black father on television. During the early days, Monte insisted on the presence of a male figure in the Evans home. It wasn't until Esther Rolle, who played Florida Evans, joined Monte on his stance, which led to John Amos being cast as James Evans, the father of the family. After years of multiple strokes, Mr. Monte at 80 currently suffers from speech impediment, but with the help of his family was able to tell his story.
I always heard him tell this story. He was a little boy outside playing the Long Ranger with a little stick. And this white guy walks by and he said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm the Long Ranger." And the white guy says, "You can't be the Long Ranger. The Long Ranger," he was like, "Why? The Long Ranger is white." And he was like, So he went back and looked at TV and he noticed all his heroes did not look like him.
Massive, ugly.
At that moment, a writer was born. He decided there and then, I'm going to create heroes to look like me. I want to see people that look like me on TV. And from there, Eric Monte, the writer and creator, was born.
I would for the first time meet Mr. Monte joined by his daughter Cynthia and granddaughter Jasmine in Atlanta, as they would explain their battle to honor his legacy, Norman Lear stealing the idea for Good Times, and Mr. Monte himself for the first time broke his silence on the passing of the man who infamously robbed him and his family. So is it true, Mr. Eric Monte, that he stole your idea as far as a Good Times?
Oh, yeah.
Monte revealed that lawyers would end up taking all of his money, which would leave him no choice but to accept a $1 million settlement, and that would end up being his final cut for the entire library of Good Times. We would confirm behind the scenes and on camera that Mr. Monte would even become homeless years later. When asked how much they think the series is worth, the family had this to say.
I think that my father is worth millions. Norman Lear took the credit for all of his works and was deemed that he produced, and he's the godfather.
And he would get credited and kind of like get more work.
And right now, he sits on generational wealth, and he was able to continue to make other things. And my father, when he sued, he was blacklisted, and it was metaphorically cutting off his manhood, cutting off his ability to continue to create.
Upon his passing, it is reported that Lear's net worth was roughly over $210 million, close to $225 million to be exact. Both Cynthia and Jasmine would say that the family is full of writers, and blackballing Monte not only prevents him from receiving the benefits of his hard work, it also prevents the family from doing so too. If Monte wasn't blacklisted from the industry, he could have gone on to create even more projects for production companies. It's clear that Monte wasn't out of ideas. After Good Times premiered, Monte would go on to create What's Happening for ABC. Cynthia feels that Monte's removal from Hollywood robbed her family of generational wealth.
Without a doubt. Sure, we feel robbed. Like I said, he taught me watching it, and as I've grown older, about generational wealth. The opportunity for us to move in the field and create was stolen.
Cynthia would recall what her father went through after his lawsuit fight. Monte would end up using a portion of his settlement to fund a play. Unfortunately, it wasn't successful enough to turn a profit. As opportunities to write new scripts dried up, Monte soon found himself unemployed. Since that 1977 lawsuit, the only other scripts written by Monte and produced by Hollywood were a 1999 episode of The Wayans Brothers and a 2001 episode of Moesha. His daughter Cynthia even admits that for a long time Monte was bitter of the outcome.
I was a child growing up during that time and watched him. He was hurt. He was livid. He would come in raging about how they stole his money. And he went on a rampage for years. He'll talk to anybody.
Still made money.
So he was angry. He was pissed off.
Yeah.
For a long time, my father, he was bitter.
Yeah.
And it was no conversation, but I'm sorry and let me make right.
Yeah.
For a long time, I mean, he ended up being homeless. He ended up getting on drugs. I think the drug use came from the bitter battle that we as Black people know. You get tired of fighting racism, the people being stole from. So he was angry and bitter for a long time. And I think he was looking for it. He tried to make it right. He even talks today, go get a lawyer, and that they still owe him money from that suit. He really believes that. He believes that they owe him money.
Coolie High, right now on TV, all of them.
Now in 2024, Netflix is looking to release an animated reboot of Good Times without the involvement of the co-creators. According to the Monte and Evans family, Lear only has the licensing rights that only covers the old Good Times catalog, but doesn't allow him to create anything new from it, including animation without the consent of both families since they own the intellectual property. Upon release, the trailer received mixed reviews for seemingly stereotypical content. Fans feel like this new version lacks the heart of the original with a lack of satire. Carl Jones, known for his work producing The Boondocks, was originally attached to the series, but walked away due to creative differences. While sitting down with me, Eric Monte and his family would watch the trailer for the new Good Times. Monte would directly want to know if he was getting paid for the new series based on the characters he created.
Will he be getting paid for that cartoon?
Uncle Dad, yes.
Pretty much.
He needs
That's
to.
what I hear.
Yeah.
If they're gonna put, and this is the problem I have with it. If you're going to use my grandfather's name because what I feel is though they're using his audience, right? So they're saying anybody that loves Eric Monte, watch this show because his show is about to be rebooted. But to me, it's more Bebe's kids than Good Times.
Thank you.
So what I feel is though, if they're going to release it, which I don't respect because he didn't have any creative control over that. He wasn't able to put his 2 cents on that to say, this is what I want for the imagery of Black people. And I think, in my opinion, he wouldn't have accepted that. If he was back in the day, he would not have accepted that.
Growing up with my father, he was very big on no buffoonery, no stereotypical. He wanted, like he fought those 2 years to have a strong Black father on that show. It was a wholesome family show. And he fought against negativity and negative imagery, Black imagery. Good Times and Coolie High was to show that even though, yes, some of us live in poverty and came from the projects, we still were good people. We still had, and it's just certain stereotypical imagery that my father fought against.
Yvette Nicole Brown, who voices the mother in the new Good Times reboot, would defend the series amidst the backlash of the trailer. In response to a fan that was surprised Brown was attached to the project, she said, "This show is edgier and more irreverent than the Good Times of our childhood, but it's still a show about family, fighting the system, and working to make things better despite where you start out in the world. That 100% lines up with my values."
This is my problem. Eric Monte was not mentioned. And it's not just Norman Lear. He just owns licensing. My grandfather actually owns it. So the problem is he's not on any creative control. And now we're still allowing white people to mold our story. It should have been presented to the Monte and Evans family about any creative control, about what do we want to talk about in this new animated series. And to my opinion, it's not, I actually lived in the hood. My grandfather actually lived in the hood. My mama actually lived in the hood. So for us, we lived in the Rusties. You get what I'm saying? I'm really from Chicago. That is something of our culture, but it's always a taste of how you do it.
In regards to the brand of Good Times, Monte would explain how he didn't rely on negative black stereotypes like violence in order to get laughs. To him, Good Times and Coolie High were funny shows showing black people in a positive light. Finally, in our interview, it would come down to the man who would steal Monte's life story and works that would become Good Times. Monte had this to share with his reaction.
So when Norman Lear died, my father, we called him, and we sent him the picture. He said, "Oh, he died." And he said, "I like him." He said he gave me a chance. He the first man. He said, "But he stole from me and he got money. He rich. I got no money." So that was his take. It was a bittersweet love-hate type of thing.
He's my friend. He was my friend. So my money did different. Thank you. But so my money, that's wrong.
So he was the first man to give him opportunity, but then also the first man to steal opportunity from him.
Thank you.
Now, in regards to where the family is today, they hope to continue to move forward and tell stories that line up to their family values.
We want the legacy to continue to be push positive imagery. My father was big on it then. We're big on it now. We feel like unity, freedom of creativity, unity amongst our people. We feel like positive imagery. We're not with this tearing each other. We see so much of that, tearing each other down, putting us down, killing each other, hating on each other, cheating with each other. You don't see strong black families like portrayed. This one is sleeping with this one, and this one girlfriend is cheating on that one, and we're sick of the negative narrative, and we want to change that.
When it comes down to what the family feels is owed, his daughter Cynthia would sum it up.
I think real restitution is what was needed, and honesty about what was taken, and that is the conversation that never happened.
Regardless of the obstacles, Eric Monte continues to push ahead as he and his family have launched Eric Monte Productions and teased a variety of projects along the way. Now, if you'd like to show your support for Eric Monte, the family has confirmed you can reach out to info@ericmonteofficial.com with donations or anything that can help preserve this family's legacy. For Comedy Hype News, I'm John Abba.